Hello, friends. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into Best Loser Wins, a book that completely shifts the way we think about success in trading. If you're tired of hearing the same old advice about winning every time, this book will show you why losing can actually be your pathway to becoming a better trader. If you enjoy this deep dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more valuable content on mastering your trading mindset. Let's get into it. Tom Hougaard starts by talking directly to the markets, almost like writing a letter to an old friend, or maybe a worthy opponent. Right away, you can sense the deep respect and frustration traders feel toward the market. It's unpredictable, unforgiving, and yet it holds the potential for life-changing success. Hougaard doesn't sugarcoat anything. He openly admits the market doesn't care about anyone's feelings, dreams, or struggles. It's a battlefield where only the most disciplined survive. But here's the twist. He's not just warning us. He's showing us how traders get emotionally entangled, how they take losses personally, and how their own psychology becomes their biggest enemy. He acknowledges that losing is part of the game, and resisting that reality only makes things worse. Most traders enter the market hoping to be right, but the market doesn't reward ego. It rewards those who can handle pain, uncertainty, and self-doubt without losing control. The introduction of Best Loser Wins sets the stage for everything Tom Hougaard wants to teach us. And trust me, it's not the typical follow these steps and get rich kind of message. From the very beginning, Hougaard makes one thing clear. The secret to becoming a successful trader has almost nothing to do with technical strategies. Instead, it's all about how you think, how you react to pressure, and here's the surprising part, how well you can lose. Most people enter the trading world with big dreams. They imagine financial freedom, luxurious lifestyles, and escaping the grind of a regular job. But here's the problem. Most traders fail. And not because they don't understand charts or indicators. No, they fail because they can't handle the emotional and psychological pressure that comes with trading. According to Hougaard, the market isn't some friendly playground where everyone gets a fair shot. It's a brutal arena where only the mentally tough survive. In this introduction, he shares a powerful idea that goes against everything you might expect. The best traders are also the best losers. It's not the ones who win all the time who succeed in the long run. It's the ones who know how to lose the right way, without letting those losses destroy their confidence or judgment. Most people can't do this. They let fear, greed, and frustration take over, and that's exactly why they fail. Hougaard draws a clear line between two kinds of traders, the amateurs and the professionals. Amateurs chase easy wins. They take trades based on hope or gut feelings, and when things go wrong, they panic. Professionals, on the other hand, accept that losses are inevitable. But here's the key. They don't take losses personally. Every loss is just part of the bigger game, and instead of reacting emotionally, they stay calm, stick to their strategy, and keep moving forward. He doesn't just talk about theory. He speaks from experience. Hougaard himself has faced brutal losses, but instead of quitting, he used those experiences to sharpen his skills and toughen his mindset. And that's what this book is really about, building the mental and emotional resilience needed to survive in the markets. One of the most striking things in this introduction is how honest Hougaard is about the realities of trading. There's no sugarcoating here. He tells us up front, if you want to succeed, you need to embrace discomfort. You need to learn to sit with fear, uncertainty, and frustration without letting those emotions drive your decisions. And above all, you need to stop being obsessed with winning every trade. Think about it. Most people can't handle being wrong. When a trade goes against them, they freeze, hoping the market will turn around. And when it doesn't, they blow up their accounts. But the traders who win over time, they know how to cut their losses quickly, move on, and trust their process. Hougaard's message is simple but powerful. If you can learn to lose well, you can win big. But that kind of mindset doesn't come naturally. It has to be built, tested, and strengthened through real experience. The chapter Liar's Poker is where Tom Hougaard really starts challenging the way we think about trading. If you've ever believed that trading is all about intelligence, strategy, or spotting the perfect chart pattern, this chapter is going to shake that belief. Because Hougaard makes it clear, trading is more psychological than technical. And most people lose not because they don't have the right knowledge, but because they can't control their own minds. He starts with a fascinating comparison between trading and poker. In poker, just like in the markets, every player is trying to outsmart the others. Bluffing, reading opponents, and understanding probabilities matter more than simply having good cards. In trading, The market is your opponent. But unlike poker, the market doesn't care about you. It doesn't care if you win or lose. It just moves, and how you react to those moves determines your success. Hougaard exposes a hard truth. Most traders are lying to themselves. They convince themselves that they have control, that they can predict the market, or that their strategy is foolproof. But in reality, the market is unpredictable, and the only thing you can truly control is your own mindset and reactions. He shares real stories of traders who refuse to accept losses, hold on to losing positions, and make impulsive decisions based on emotions rather than logic. These traders often tell themselves lies. The market will come back. This is just a temporary dip. I'll add more to my position to average out my loss. But instead of recovering, these traders dig deeper holes until they're completely wiped out. The biggest problem? They're not playing the game the right way. They think the market is supposed to make sense. They expect logic and fairness. But Hougaard warns, the market is chaotic, and expecting it to behave a certain way is a dangerous illusion. Here's where the concept of liar's poker really comes into play. Just like in the game, where players bluff and manipulate their way to winning hands, traders often bluff themselves into bad decisions. They ignore reality, hold on to false hopes, and refuse to accept when they're wrong. This is exactly why they fail. So, what's the solution? According to Hougaard, successful traders don't try to outguess the market. Instead, they focus on their own reactions, discipline, and risk management. They accept that losing is part of the process and never let a single trade define their success. One of the most important takeaways from this chapter is detachment. Hougaard explains that winning traders don't get emotionally attached to their trades. They don't celebrate wins too much, and they don't dwell on losses. Every trade is just another step in the journey. They don't lie to themselves, and they don't let hope replace reality. In the trading floor, Tom Hougaard pulls back the curtain on what it's really like inside a professional trading environment. If you've ever imagined traders as calm, calculated professionals making precise moves based on deep market knowledge, this chapter will shatter that illusion. Because in reality, the trading floor is chaos. Hougaard takes us inside the high-pressure world of professional trading, where money is won and lost in seconds and emotions run high. He describes the raw energy of the floor, the shouting, the tension, the thrill of big wins, and the devastation of crushing losses. This isn't just some quiet office with traders sitting behind screens, making thoughtful decisions. It's a battlefield, and only the strongest survive. He makes one thing very clear. Most traders fail because they think the market is about intelligence, but trading at this level is about emotional control, not IQ. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you panic under pressure, if you let fear or greed take over, you're finished. One of the most powerful parts of this chapter is when Hougaard talks about how traders react to losses. The professionals on the floor don't dwell on their mistakes. They take a loss, accept it, and move on. But amateurs? They freeze. They hesitate. They refuse to accept they were wrong. And that hesitation leads to even bigger losses. He shares stories of traders who blew up their accounts because they couldn't handle losing. One moment, they were confident and in control. The next, they were taking reckless trades, desperately trying to win back what they lost. And that's the difference between winning and losing in this game. The best traders don't just know how to win, they know how to lose without letting it destroy them. Hougaard also talks about the culture of professional trading floors. There's no room for excuses. No one is there to hold your hand or comfort you when you make a bad trade. If you lose, it's on you. You either learn from it or you get crushed. It's a brutal but necessary lesson. One key takeaway from this chapter is that real trading success isn't about having a perfect strategy. It's about how you handle the unpredictable nature of the market. The best traders don't try to control the market. They focus on controlling themselves. In Everyone is a Chart Expert, Tom Hougaard exposes one of the biggest illusions in trading, the idea that mastering charts and technical analysis will make you a consistently profitable trader. If you've ever spent hours analyzing patterns, indicators, and historical price movements thinking you've cracked the code, this chapter will be a wake-up call. Hougaard starts by pointing out a hard truth. Almost every trader relies on charts, but if that alone guaranteed success, why do most traders still fail? The answer is simple, because charts don't predict the future. They only show what's already happened. Yet, traders everywhere convince themselves that if they just find the right setup, the right indicator, or the perfect strategy, they'll never lose again. He shares stories of traders who spend years studying technical patterns, believing they've discovered the holy grail of trading. They analyze moving averages, Fibonacci levels, candlestick formations, only to end up losing money just like everyone else. Why? Because the market doesn't care about your patterns. It moves based on human psychology, fear, greed, and randomness that no chart can fully capture. The big problem is that charts give traders a false sense of control. When you look at historical price action, it's easy to see where you should have entered or exited a trade. But in real time, when emotions are high and money is on the line, that's a completely different experience. Suddenly, those clear signals don't feel so clear anymore. Hougaard doesn't say charts are useless. In fact, they're a necessary tool, but they are not a magic formula for success. The mistake traders make is believing that knowledge of charts alone will save them. It won't, because when fear kicks in, when losses pile up, when a trade moves against you, no chart in the world can prepare you for the psychological battle that follows. In The Curse of Patterns, Tom Hougaard takes a deep dive into one of the most dangerous traps in trading, the obsession with patterns. Traders love patterns. Whether it's head and shoulders, triangles, or double tops, these setups often seem like the key to predicting future market movements. But Hougaard flips the script, showing how this fixation on patterns can actually become your biggest obstacle to success. Hougaard opens the chapter by acknowledging that patterns can be useful, but here's the catch. They're not foolproof. Just because a pattern has played out a certain way in the past doesn't mean it will play out that way again. Yet, so many traders become slaves to these charts, convinced that past performance guarantees future results. And that's exactly where they go wrong. The chapter makes it clear that the market doesn't care about your patterns. In fact, the market is constantly moving, shifting, and reacting to countless factors: human behavior, news, global events, all of which can't be captured perfectly by any technical analysis tool. But patterns give traders a sense of comfort. They create a false sense of certainty in a market that is anything but predictable. Hougaard explains how traders often become overconfident when they spot what they believe is a perfect pattern. They enter trades with high expectations, thinking they've found the golden ticket. But as soon as the market doesn't follow the pattern, fear and frustration kick in. The trade goes against them. And instead of accepting that patterns are not guaranteed, they start doubting their strategy and decision-making. One of the most powerful parts of this chapter is when Hougaard talks about the psychological toll this obsession with patterns takes on traders. The more you focus on patterns, the more you tie your self-worth to being right. This makes you more likely to double down on losing trades, hoping the pattern will complete and the market will turn around. In reality, this mindset is a recipe for disaster. The lesson here is simple but powerful. Patterns are not a guarantee. The market isn't predictable, and putting all your faith in a pattern means you're setting yourself up for failure. True success in trading comes from managing risk, staying disciplined, and accepting that no trade is ever a sure thing. Hougaard also touches on how traders can get stuck in a loop, constantly searching for patterns in every market move. They end up losing sight of the bigger picture. Trading isn't about finding patterns to predict the future. It's about managing uncertainty and controlling your reactions when things don't go as planned. In Fighting My Humanness, Tom Hougaard confronts one of the most fundamental challenges of trading: the human psyche. No matter how much experience you have or how well you understand the market, your emotions will always be the biggest obstacle standing between you and consistent success. This chapter is a raw and honest look at the battle that every trader faces: the fight against their own humanness. Hougaard starts by acknowledging something that every trader knows deep down. Trading is emotional. It's not just about following charts or analyzing market data. It's about how you react to the ups and downs. The human brain is hardwired to avoid pain and seek pleasure. When you experience a loss, your instinct is to run from it, avoid it, or fight it. But that's where the problem begins. Trading requires you to embrace loss, to accept it without letting it cloud your judgment or influence your next move. The chapter focuses on how fear and greed are the driving forces behind so many bad decisions in trading. When you're in a losing position, fear makes you hold on, hoping the market will turn around. But fear only leads to bigger losses. On the flip side, when you're winning, greed makes you hold on to the trade for too long, not wanting to let go of the gains. But greed often leads to missed opportunities and unnecessary risk. Hougaard's point is clear. You can't beat the market if you're constantly fighting your own instincts. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if you don't master your emotions, you'll always be at the mercy of your own humanness. The real battle isn't with the market, it's with yourself. Traders who can't control their fear and greed often end up making impulsive decisions, abandoning their strategies in favor of short-term emotional relief. And that's when they lose. One of the most eye-opening parts of this chapter is when Hougaard talks about the myth of the perfect trader. Many people believe that the goal is to be completely unemotional, to never make mistakes, and to be in control at all times. But that's simply not true. Even the best traders are human. They feel fear, they feel greed, they make mistakes. But the difference is that they don't let these emotions control them. They acknowledge them, accept them, and move forward without letting them dictate their actions. Hougaard emphasizes that the best traders are self-aware. They know their weaknesses, they understand their emotions, and they recognize the signs when fear or greed is starting to take over. Instead of fighting these feelings, they make peace with them and continue to trade with discipline, knowing that every loss is a lesson and every gain is a reminder to stay humble. By the end of this chapter, Hougaard makes an important point. The key to becoming a successful trader is not to eliminate emotions, but to learn how to control them. It's about accepting that fear and greed are part of being human, and learning to navigate the market without letting them control you. Trading isn't about being perfect. It's about being human, understanding your emotions, and having the discipline to stick to your plan even when everything inside you is telling you to do something else. In Disgust, Tom Hougaard explores one of the most powerful and often overlooked emotions that traders face: disgust. This emotion, while typically associated with physical aversion, plays a surprisingly large role in how traders react to losses, failures, and mistakes in their trading journey. And as Hougaard points out, disgust can be as dangerous to your success as fear or greed. Hougaard starts by discussing how disgust often creeps in after a big loss. Traders who have experienced a string of losses or who've made huge mistakes in their trades may feel deep disgust with themselves. This feeling can be so overwhelming that it leads traders to act impulsively, trying to make back the losses by taking more risks or abandoning their trading plan entirely. But this reaction is a trap. Instead of helping, disgust fuels emotional decisions that only make the situation worse. The chapter dives into how disgust clouds judgment. When traders are disgusted with themselves, they start to doubt everything: their strategies, their abilities, and even their overall approach to the market. This self-doubt often leads to poor decisions, like overtrading or trying to recover all losses in one go. Hougaard stresses that traders need to recognize when disgust is driving their actions and avoid making decisions from that emotional place. Instead of letting disgust dictate their next move, successful traders take a step back, reflect, and stick to their plan, even if it feels uncomfortable. Hougaard also talks about how disgust is tied to pride. When traders feel they've failed or made a mistake, they're often reluctant to accept it because of their ego. Admitting a mistake can feel like admitting that they aren't as good as they thought they were. But this is a crucial lesson. True traders accept their mistakes without shame. Mistakes and losses are part of the game. There's no shame in them. The shame comes when you let disgust drive you to make decisions you'll later regret. A key point Hougaard makes is that disgust can sabotage long-term success. In the heat of the moment, it can feel like you need to get rid of the bad feelings by taking action. But the best traders know that rushing into trades when they're disgusted or frustrated can only lead to further mistakes. Instead of giving in to the urge to fix things quickly, they focus on recentering themselves, acknowledging the emotion without letting it control their actions. Hougaard's advice in this chapter is clear. Don't let disgust cloud your judgment. The more you react to emotions like disgust, the more you become a victim of them. Successful traders acknowledge their emotions, but they don't let them run the show. They focus on maintaining a clear, calm mind, especially in the face of adversity. In The Drifter Mind, Tom Hougaard delves into one of the most insidious mental traps that traders face: the drifter mind. It's the mindset that leads to lack of focus, poor decision-making, and inconsistency in trading. Essentially, it's when your mind drifts from one idea to the next without solid direction, like a ship with no anchor. And if you've ever found yourself jumping from one strategy to another or switching up your approach halfway through a trade, this chapter speaks directly to that inner struggle. Hougaard starts by explaining the nature of the drifter mind. The mind of a drifter is unfocused, restless, and easily distracted. In the trading world, this can look like constantly chasing the next hot tip, getting swept up by market noise, or abandoning your trading plan the moment things don't go as expected. The drifter mind is often led by impulse and emotional reaction, rather than a clear, disciplined strategy. And in trading, that's a recipe for failure. Hougaard points out that a drifter mind doesn't commit. It's constantly seeking validation from external sources, looking for confirmation of a trade in every corner of the market. When a drifter sees a pattern, they're eager to act on it, but they're not truly committed to their reasoning or strategy. They don't take the time to reflect on their choices, and they don't take responsibility for their outcomes. It's easy to fall into this trap, especially when markets are volatile or when traders feel the pressure to act quickly. But Hougaard warns that this lack of commitment is dangerous because it leads to hasty decisions and missed opportunities. The chapter also highlights how fear of missing out, FOMO, is a driving force behind the drifter mind. Drifters get caught up in the excitement of the market and the fear that they'll miss a profitable move. They start hopping from trade to trade, reacting to short-term movements without understanding the long-term picture. This kind of mindset is driven by external noise, media, other traders' opinions, or even gut feelings, rather than thoughtful analysis and planning. One of the core lessons in this chapter is the importance of mental discipline and focus. To fight the drifter mind, traders need to stay grounded and stick to their plan, no matter what the market throws at them. It's not about chasing the next big win or reacting to every market movement. It's about sticking to a consistent strategy and executing it with discipline. Hougaard emphasizes that trading isn't about constant action. Sometimes, the best decision is to stay out of the market and wait for the right opportunity. Hougaard also talks about the importance of self-awareness. The best traders are acutely aware of their emotions and mental state. They know when they're drifting and can snap themselves back into focus. They recognize when they're being impulsive or distracted, and they take steps to correct it. Successful traders have the mental strength to resist the urge to chase trades, to stick to their plan, and to trust their process. By the end of the chapter, Hougaard drives home the point that the drifter mind can only be overcome with intentional focus and self-discipline. The market is full of distractions, but a disciplined mind isn't swayed by them. Successful traders stay true to their strategy, practice patience, and avoid the temptation to chase after every new opportunity that comes their way. In Trading Through a Slump, Tom Hougaard addresses one of the most difficult yet inevitable experiences in a trader's career, going through a slump. Every trader faces this at some point, a period of losses, mistakes, or just feeling completely out of sync with the market. It can feel like the odds are stacked against you, and no matter what you do, you can't seem to make the right moves. But Hougaard emphasizes that the way you handle a slump can make or break your trading career. Hougaard begins the chapter by acknowledging how crushing it can feel to go through a losing streak. You question your abilities, doubt your strategies, and wonder if you've lost your edge. But instead of letting the slump define you, Hougaard offers a much-needed perspective shift. A slump is not the end of your career. It's just part of the journey. Every successful trader has faced slumps. What separates the winners from the losers is how they manage their mindset during these tough times. The chapter stresses the importance of not making impulsive decisions during a slump. It's easy to get desperate, to try to fix things quickly, or to abandon your strategy altogether. But these knee-jerk reactions are the very things that can deepen the slump. Trading through a slump requires calm, patience, and a commitment to your plan. Hougaard emphasizes that successful traders know how to stay grounded when the market isn't in their favor. They take a step back, analyze what's working and what's not, and give themselves the time to recover. Hougaard also discusses the psychological toll a slump can take. It can lead to frustration, anxiety, and self-doubt. But rather than running from these feelings, Hougaard encourages traders to embrace them. Recognize that emotions like frustration are natural. They're not signs that you should quit or abandon your process. The key is to acknowledge these emotions without letting them cloud your judgment. Instead of fighting the slump, you learn from it. Each setback is an opportunity to refine your strategies, improve your discipline, and grow as a trader. One powerful takeaway from this chapter is the importance of self-compassion during a slump. Traders often beat themselves up when things aren't going well. But Hougaard points out that self-criticism only fuels negative emotions and makes it harder to get back on track. Instead, he suggests adopting a more compassionate, understanding approach to yourself. Recognize that slumps happen, but they don't define you as a trader or as a person. Hougaard also shares that taking a break from the market can sometimes be the best decision when you're stuck in a slump. If you find yourself stuck in a cycle of losses, it might be better to step away for a while to clear your head. This can give you a fresh perspective, help you regain focus, and allow you to return to the market with a renewed sense of purpose and discipline. The chapter wraps up with a crucial reminder: slumps are temporary. They don't last forever. The key is to keep your long-term perspective intact. Even in the darkest moments, remember that trading is a marathon, not a sprint. Every trader has their ups and downs, but it's your ability to stay consistent, disciplined, and resilient through the tough times that will determine your success in the long run. In Embracing Failure, Tom Hougaard dives deep into a topic that many traders try to avoid, but ultimately must confront: failure. As much as we'd like to think that trading is about making money and winning all the time, failure is an inevitable part of the journey. What sets successful traders apart from the rest is their ability to embrace failure, learn from it, and use it as a tool for growth rather than something to fear or avoid. Hougaard starts by addressing the uncomfortable truth. Failure is going to happen. Every trader will face losses, mistakes, and trades that didn't go as planned. The question is not if you'll fail, but how you'll handle it when it happens. Most traders panic at the thought of failure. They try to avoid it at all costs, which leads to emotional decisions and poor trading behavior. But Hougaard stresses that failure is an essential part of the learning process. Without failure, you wouldn't have the opportunity to grow, adjust your strategies, and improve your trading mindset. The key to embracing failure, according to Hougaard, is changing the way you perceive it. Instead of viewing failure as something shameful or a reflection of your abilities, see it as a learning opportunity. Every loss or mistake has valuable lessons hidden within it. Failure teaches you what doesn't work, which brings you one step closer to discovering what does. When you fail, you're not losing forever. You're gaining experience, building resilience, and improving your approach to the market. Hougaard emphasizes that resilience is one of the most important traits of a successful trader. Failure will knock you down, but how you respond is what matters. Successful traders don't let failure define them. They use it as a stepping stone. They understand that trading is a journey full of ups and downs. What truly matters is not how many times you fall, but how many times you get back up. The chapter also addresses the issue of ego. Many traders are attached to the idea of being right or successful. When they fail, their ego takes a hit, and it becomes difficult to accept the reality of their situation. Hougaard challenges this mindset, arguing that ego is one of the biggest obstacles to growth. When your ego is hurt by failure, you become defensive, and instead of learning, you end up repeating the same mistakes. To truly embrace failure, you need to let go of your ego and focus on the bigger picture, your long-term growth as a trader. Hougaard also discusses the emotional impact of failure. It's normal to feel frustrated, upset, or even embarrassed after a loss. But instead of dwelling on these negative emotions, Hougaard suggests taking a step back, gaining perspective, and using the failure as a tool to fuel your improvement. It's about reframing your mindset. Rather than seeing failure as a setback, view it as a lesson that will make you stronger and more prepared for future trades. In Best Loser Wins, Tom Hougaard brings a powerful concept to the forefront: the idea that losing in trading can actually be a pathway to success if approached with the right mindset. Rather than seeing losses as setbacks or failures, Hougaard teaches traders to embrace them as learning opportunities and key components of a sustainable, successful trading career. This chapter turns the typical idea of winning on its head and redefines what it means to be a successful trader. The main takeaway of the chapter is that successful trading isn't about having more wins than losses. It's about managing your losses effectively. Hougaard explains that the best traders are those who accept that losses are inevitable and develop strategies to minimize their emotional impact. It's not the absence of failure that sets the best traders apart, but how they handle it. If you can lose well, you can win big in the long run. Hougaard emphasizes that losing isn't the problem. It's how you respond to losing that matters. Many traders fear losses and try to avoid them at all costs, which often leads them to make irrational, emotional decisions. They either cut their losses too quickly out of fear or hold on to losing trades in the hope that the market will turn in their favor. Both approaches are destructive. The key to trading success, according to Hougaard, is to accept losses as part of the game and stick to your plan. Losing is not something to avoid, but something to manage. The trader who wins the most isn't the one who has the most wins, but the one who can manage losses the best. A central idea in the chapter is the importance of risk management. Hougaard argues that the best losers are the ones who have mastered the art of controlling risk. They understand that it's not about avoiding losses altogether, but about making sure that when losses do occur, they don't wipe out all of your capital. Successful traders know how to limit their losses so that a string of bad trades won't derail their career. Hougaard recommends setting clear risk parameters for each trade, like stop-loss orders or maximum loss thresholds, and sticking to them no matter what. This is how you protect yourself from the emotional and financial devastation of a losing streak. Another critical part of the chapter is the idea that accepting losses helps reduce the emotional impact they have. Traders often allow a single loss to spiral into self-doubt, frustration, or even anger. This emotional turmoil can cloud judgment and lead to impulsive decisions. Hougaard suggests that emotionally detached trading is the best way to navigate losses. By accepting that losses are part of the process and by reframing your mindset, you can keep your emotions in check, make better decisions, and stay consistent in your strategy. This emotional detachment doesn't mean being cold or indifferent, but rather not letting your emotions dictate your trading behavior. The chapter also touches on the idea of developing a long-term mindset. Hougaard reminds traders that successful trading is a marathon, not a sprint. It's easy to get discouraged by short-term losses, but those losses are just small blips in the bigger picture. To win in the long run, you need to think beyond any individual trade or day and focus on your overall strategy and goals. When you embrace the inevitability of losses and use them as stepping stones rather than obstacles, you develop the kind of mental resilience that can carry you through rough patches and lead to sustained success. In The Ideal Mindset, Tom Hougaard delves into one of the most important aspects of trading, your mental approach. While many focus on technical analysis, strategies, and market conditions, Hougaard argues that the real key to success lies in mastering your mindset. He presents the idea that how you think and feel about trading will directly influence how you trade. Without the right mindset, even the best strategy can fail. Hougaard begins by pointing out that most traders overlook their mental state. They spend hours studying charts, perfecting strategies, and looking for indicators, but they neglect the emotional and psychological side of trading. He emphasizes that trading is as much about managing yourself as it is about managing the market. A trader's mindset is often the deciding factor in whether they succeed or fail. One of the main points Hougaard makes is the importance of discipline and consistency. The ideal mindset for a trader is one that is disciplined, able to stick to a strategy regardless of what the market is doing. Hougaard argues that success in trading comes from consistency, not from trying to predict every market movement or make big risky bets. It's about sticking to a plan, following your rules, and avoiding emotional impulses. A key part of developing this ideal mindset is learning to embrace uncertainty. Hougaard explains that the market is inherently uncertain. There's no way to predict with 100% accuracy what will happen. Instead of fearing uncertainty, you must learn to accept it and operate within it. Traders with the right mindset don't try to control everything. They understand that they can only control their own actions, their responses to the market, their discipline, and their emotions. The market will do what it will do, and it's up to you to manage your reactions and decisions. Hougaard also talks about the necessity of emotional control in trading. Emotional decisions are often the downfall of many traders, and the ideal mindset requires recognizing and managing your emotions, especially fear and greed. Fear of loss can lead traders to exit positions too early or make overly cautious decisions, while greed can lead to taking unnecessary risks or holding on to positions too long. The ideal trader is emotionally balanced, able to stay calm and rational regardless of market conditions. This doesn't mean being cold or detached, but rather having the emotional intelligence to recognize when emotions are influencing your decisions and taking steps to avoid them. Another important element of the ideal mindset is self-belief. but not in an arrogant way. Confidence is crucial for traders, but Hougaard stresses that this confidence must be grounded in a realistic understanding of the market and your own abilities. Overconfidence can be just as damaging as a lack of confidence. The best traders trust their process, but they also recognize that they don't know everything. They are constantly learning, adjusting, and refining their approach based on experience and feedback. Humility in the face of the market is essential. Hougaard also emphasizes mental flexibility. The ideal mindset is one that can adapt to changing market conditions and adjust strategies accordingly. Traders with a rigid mindset may struggle when the market doesn't behave as expected. To succeed, you need to be open-minded, willing to tweak your strategy, and capable of shifting your approach when necessary. And that's a wrap on Best Loser Wins. We've covered how embracing loss and mastering your mindset can lead you to long-term success in trading. Remember, it's not about avoiding losses, but about learning to handle them with discipline and emotional control. If you found this journey insightful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on more valuable tips and strategies. Keep trading, keep learning, and embrace the process. See you in the next one.